Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Horological Happy Hour. I'm Robert.
I'm Justin.
And as always, we are very happy to be joining you on this Thursday evening. We have some cool stuff to talk about today.
Yeah. We're going to do some new arrivals. We got some really, really awesome stuff. We asked you guys for questions over on our Instagram page, and you guys did not disappoint. We got a ton of really awesome questions. We're definitely not going to get through them all today, but we're going to do our best to roll through a bunch.
I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah. Some really insightful stuff, some interesting stuff, and it's nice to not just get the usual Rolex versus Patek, right, or Daytona versus Speedmaster. Yeah. We got stuff that is looking at corners and little nooks and crannies of the market, yep, and I think it's going to be really cool.
And if you guys have more questions that you think of now, throughout the show, whatever, go ahead and drop them in the comments. We're going to keep track of everything, and we're going to do our best to kind of add a little bit of a Q&A to, if not all of our shows, most of our shows, so that we can try to answer as many of your questions as possible. But I think before we get started at all, Rob, I got to do the honors here.
Yes, please.
And get things going.
An empty glass is a sad glass.
It is a very sad glass. We're going to stick with our favorite, the old standby, Lagavulin 16. There you go, buddy. Nothing
better than a good smoky scotch.
Exactly. It's that time of year, too. So hopefully... Making yummy noises over there.
What is this? That time of year. I'm
Cheers,
agreeing
buddy.
With you.
Cheers.
For once. First
Cheers,
time.
Guys. Hopefully you're imbibing with us. But thank you, as always, for joining us. We should kick things off with some new arrivals.
We have some really cool stuff that's either on the site or just coming to the site recently. So I actually had a hard time picking this time around in terms of looking at the stuff we just priced and the stuff that's getting priced for the website. So why don't you start us off with something I actually didn't think we were ever going to see.
I didn't even know if it actually existed, honestly, up until about a couple weeks ago when it showed up on our doorstep. But we're super excited and honestly honored to be able to list this piece. This is the not so new anymore, but the new Lange Odysseus Chrono.
I mean, it's new in terms of the fact that I haven't even seen people posting these.
No, we haven't seen it anywhere, which is wild. This debuted 2 years ago, and actually more than 2 years ago. It was 2023, Watches and Wonders 2023.
That's crazy.
The steel Lange Odysseus Chrono debuted, and this is the first one that we've seen. And like Robert said, I honestly didn't even know if this actually existed in real life. It's kind of bonkers. Super, super cool piece, honestly. It's a limited edition of 100. So, obviously incredibly rare. Steel, so if you're familiar with the regular Odysseus, this is very similar. This is basically just an upsized Odysseus.
Is it upsized?
It is, yeah. So hold on.
It doesn't feel any bigger on the wrist. It still fits really well, and I guess it's a little thicker, it's a little chunkier. But.
So the regular steel Odysseus, steel blue dial, is 40.5 millimeter diameter by 11.1 millimeters thick. This is 42.5 millimeters by 14.2. So it's quite a bit larger than the regular, the standard model.
You don't feel it. You don't feel it
agreed.
At all.
On the wrist, totally.
I get real picky about chronograph pushers.
Yes.
Because there are some watches that I think are so beautiful and well designed, and then the pushers feel like an afterthought.
And this is one that they did an amazing job
When they first introduced it with those integrated pushers for the Daymatic movement, I was like, that's awesome. And then it makes so much sense to go into a chrono, and it feels great.
It's wild. I mean, really, looking at that watch, if you didn't know it was a chrono, you wouldn't necessarily know it. The pushers are so well integrated and it's so clean in that case band, over at 3 o'clock that it's very, very well done. What was I going to say? Oh, so first automatic chronograph from Lange, which is interesting. You get that same, Daymatic complication. Then you have that central minute counter, which is hidden behind that red running seconds hand.
That's the silver hand.
Correct.
Behind the red.
Yes, exactly. So new L156.1 movement with a 50-hour power reserve. Obviously, it's the only watch that this is currently used in. Great piece.
And only the second watch, the second production watch from Lange in steel.
Second, yes, after
because obviously
the
original Odysseus
right,
was the first. This is the second watch they've ever made. And I wanted to put it on my wrist one more time because I wanted to point out, Lange is a master at this lug placement. So the lugs are very much in the middle of the case, which makes you think, oh, it's going to like be a hockey puck on the wrist. But if you size this bracelet, it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
And that's part of why you don't feel the height or the size of this, because it's just like vacuum sealed onto the wrist there in a lovely way.
The other part about this bracelet too, so it's super easy to size because as you can see, on the inside of the bracelet, it's kind of like that IWC style with those little pushers.
And the button.
And I was going to say, and then you also get that button for, the micro adjust. I mean, it's a lot more than a micro adjust, but, for the clasp sizing.
I mean, that's just about a whole link.
Oh, yeah,
in
for
terms
sure.
of in and out. So, yeah. I mean, it's funny. It's another one of those watches where Lange took a good bit of heat on the initial release, but I think it has proven itself to be a really strong addition to the catalog. I think it's brought new people to the brand, which is what it was meant to do, right? They didn't make this for the guy who loves all of Lange's dress watches because they already make those watches for those customers. This was about attracting new people. It was about broadening the offerings in the catalog, and I think they did a great job.
I mean, this personally is like too big for me. It actually, like the jump in size between this and the standard. But I agree. I love the standard. I think it is like it stayed true to the Lange design kind of brief, you know what I mean? And
it's still very German.
It's still very German, very Lange, and this just kind of carries that forward. So super, super cool piece. That's going to be live on our website like tomorrow morning, probably, if it isn't already. Very, very cool. Excited to actually see it in person and know that it really does exist. So.
I mean, that and the titanium one are
it's so funny. Like, I don't know why this just came to me, but I remember my wife and I were traveling. We were in London, and right after they debuted this watch, and in Harrods, they had the giant working model from Watches and Wonders. And I was like, oh, damn, that's super cool. I can't wait to see one. And then it took 2 years for us to see one. But yeah, great piece, great piece.
Yeah. All right. So from a steel chronograph with a screw-down crown to a platinum skeleton tourbillon, I have long been a fan of Breguet and have said that people need to wake up and pay attention to this brand.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful case in point as to why Breguet is really, like, it's so undervalued, it's criminal.
Yes.
I mean, this from Patek Philippe would be $1 million watch. The finishing, the artwork, not even talking about the execution of a tourbillon from the brand whose name, invented the thing.
I mean, look at that. Look at the decoration on the movement itself. Like, you can kind of see it in around the periphery of the dial there. There you go. This is where you really see it. Every single surface is decorated, but it doesn't feel busy. Somehow Breguet created a fully skeletonized tourbillon dress watch that doesn't feel fussy or like too much. I don't know. It's such an incredible piece, and it's so Breguet to me.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's not like they took a standard tourbillon movement, cut out a couple holes in it, and called it a day.
No.
Like this, the process of skeletonizing this movement, and then all of the engraving on what's left of the plates. I mean, this must have taken so much work. And to me, that's when a watch like this really comes into its own, is when it starts to have a life force, because you almost think about the guy who made it and the guy who sat there doing all that engine turning on all of these little tiny, thin, microscopic bridges and stuff. And I mean, look at that. The size, the proportion, it's like, that is a gentleman's wristwatch right there. And it's still legible. Like, with the blued hands against all of the open-work silver there, is still extremely legible and easy to read for something that at a glance wouldn't appear so.
I love those pops of color with the blue and the tourbillon there for the running seconds, up and for the time, and then you get those little flashes of gold on part of the running train and everything. Like, it's so cool. And this, usually for a skeleton like this, if something is overly skeletonized, like, it kind of, I'm usually not a huge fan because I don't want to see my own wrist hair. You know what I mean? And it feels too fussy. It feels too fussy.
It feels rococo, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like so over the top and like, you know. But this almost feels like if RM made a dress watch.
I don't know about that.
It does. To me, it does, man.
Buddy.
Like yeah. I'm sticking with it.
I love that.
That's what it is.
That's available on the website right now, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that is available.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Breguet and some of our favorite, you know, I guess neo-vintage or references later in the show as part of the Q&A. And like this is like a prime example of what you can get from Breguet. And like Rob said, if this had, you know, the brand name of any of the Holy Trinity or a number of other manufacturers.
Yeah, because Vacheron makes something very similar.
They do.
And it's more expensive.
Yeah.
And it's like, I actually would rather have the Breguet than the Vacheron.
Yeah.
So
tons of value for money, and it's interesting. It's, you know, it's not the obvious choice. And they're just incredible. So if you ever have the opportunity to handle one of these, like I highly recommend it.
Yeah, monster watch.
Cool. All right, next up, another super funky, super weird piece.
My favorite watch on the tray, and I would have picked it, but you beat me to it.
I was too prepared, Robert. All right, so AP Remaster 02. So Rob, I'm gonna let you show that guy off. This is another super limited edition piece. They made, I think, 200 of these or 250. But this is proof positive that AP does so much more than just the Royal Oak. Like, you know, it's easy to kind of think that in the past, decade plus, like since the death of the Jules Audemars line, there's not a whole lot else other than Royal Oaks. But I think with this, with the Code line, they're still doing interesting, distinctive stuff. Like this is such a cool piece. So you might be familiar with the original, the Remaster 01. That was that more.
It was a two-tone
gold,
old school chronograph.
Yes, and it was still very funky, but it was more traditional. This is like totally out of left field. But the best part of this is that this watch was actually inspired by a super rare reference, the reference 5159, that AP made just 7 examples of between 1959 and 1963. So I don't even know, like, I don't know who designed it. This reminds me very much of like Gilbert Albert that we talked about a few weeks ago.
Well, it's also just very much of that age.
Right.
Like the starburst for the markings on the dial.
Yeah.
You know, that was such a like jet set era kind of thing. And
This
like
screams,
that like retrofuturism.
Screams exactly. Retrofuturism, 1950s, early 60s, like super optimistic, crazy space age stuff.
And we haven't even talked about, this is, what do they call it? Sand gold?
Yes. So this is AP's proprietary alloy that they call sand gold, which lives, I mean, you can see in the photos, it's somewhere between full rose and full white gold. It's like this very interesting mix of the two. It definitely skews more white, but it has a real warmth to it.
Yeah, and it's I would kind of put it in the same camp as the Lange honey gold, but it's not the same thing at all. It's a very different kind of color to it.
It's much lighter than the honey gold.
But there's like a little copperiness to it
that
you don't get. Like the honey gold, I feel like is closer to a yellow, and this almost feels like if you smashed white and rose together, you would get this.
Totally, exactly.
And I love the dynamicism of the dial as well. You can see like as I'm moving it around in the light, it almost looks like a pinwheel.
Well, so I was going to say that. So the dial, it's AP's blue Nuit dial, so it's like their dark blue. It's there's 12 individual like pie pieces, triangles there, and each one is delineated by a line of the sand gold. There's those striations, individual lines on each of the slices of the pie, so you get this crazy play with the light. Then that's paired with that wild crystal with that crazy slope over at 3 o'clock.
It's big, but it's fine. It wears so well. It's so well proportioned. Because when we first saw it, our first thing was like, wow, it's a lot larger than we expected it to be. But it actually, you look at it on the wrist and
it looks great.
That's it, man.
It's funny,
It's almost like an Urwerk, but it's easier to wear.
Oh, it's a better Urwerk, you're saying? That's high praise, actually. That's high praise coming from Rob. The original, that reference 5159, I think it was like 20. It was like 27 mil or something. It was
small.
It was teeny tiny. So this is obviously on a totally different scale. But AP calls this a tribute to brutalism, which actually makes total sense to me as well. It's kind of slabs, like all the surfaces of the case are obviously very angular, but they're like very almost slab.
There's not a lot of like bevels, and it's hard edges with like no transition.
Striations.
It's just, and then it's different.
This is such a cool piece though. Like I said, limited to, damn it, I thought I wrote it down. I think it's 200 pieces. I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. There's not a lot
Very
of them
limited.
out there.
I think this is like the second one that we've ever seen of the O2. Available on the website for $79.5 right now.
And it's funny, right before that came out, I saw somebody post it and they were like, remaster 01. Where's the next one?
Right.
You know, like, because it was a couple years in between that initial one and this one. Like, they really took their time. And I see why. That watch doesn't seem to share anything with any of their other watches.
No.
They would have had to build that from the ground up.
I really do hope that they continue this line and they do more. Looking, almost like a CP or, Le Historique line or something like that from AP. Because again, they have so many interesting designs from their back catalog from, the 40s all the way up through the 80s, even into the 90s, where it would be awesome if they put a modern spin on them and kind of reinterpreted them. So very, very cool piece. So check that out on our website.
Nice. Again, favorite one on the tray. But we have more good stuff. I was excited to get this in as well.
I was too.
This is the IWC Ingenieur Perpetual. So this is the newest addition to the Ingenieur line, which IWC reintroduced a few years ago. They kind of brought it back to the original Genta designed Ingenieur, because that was the actual third watch he designed. Genta did not design the 222. Everybody assumes that he did because it's the big three. He did not. Vacheron did that on their own in response. He actually did design the original Ingenieur. So IWC brought it back to that, which was a beautiful move because the Ingenieur had gotten very large. And
it had moved so far away from the original design brief that like bringing it kind of relaunching it and bringing it back to what it was and what it was originally intended to be.
To the integrated bracelet Ingenieurs, because there were dress watch Ingenieurs before that are a whole different thing.
That's a different thing.
And IWC tried to bring those back, and I feel like those came and went rather silently because nobody really cared. So anyway, they've taken this watch and they've taken the bracelet in the case, and obviously they've had to make the case a little bit thicker to fit the Perpetual in there. But I think this is a lovely treatment of the Ingenieur.
Is this 42 now? What is the size? Do you know the case size off the top of your head? Oh, way to be prepared, Robert. I'll look it up. Hold on.
If it's 42, I'd be surprised because it doesn't feel like a 42. I think part of that's because it basically doesn't have any lugs, right? It's like it's the case and then it just comes down into the bracelet. And there's no like big bulky crown guards or pushers, so you don't feel a ton of size on it. What I think is cool about this is like if you want a Royal Oak Perpetual, it's big, big money. If you want a Patek 5740, it's big, big money. And it's, that then is only white gold. Like you don't even have the steel option. This gives you the option for a steel Perpetual on a beautiful integrated bracelet at an accessible price point. Again, for
a Perpetual calendar.
Right, for an automatic Perpetual.
So this is, it's 41.6, so the better part of 42. But personally, I really particularly love the dials that IWC has brought to the entire new Ingenieur line. It's like this very interesting checkerboard engraving almost. And for whatever reason, the Perpetual works the best for me. I don't know if it's just like that I don't know, breaking it up a little bit, or I'm not sure what it is, but I really, really love the interplay of those different textures with those subdials, with those outer edges that are with the rings and everything and the moon phase. Like it's beautiful. It really wears like you just showed off. Like it's very, very nice on the wrist.
I like that they use the dial to create some uniqueness and some distinction here. Because my biggest problem with integrated dress watch, integrated sport like steel bracelet watches, is that a lot of them end up feeling derivative from either Patek or AP, right? It's like, oh yeah, they were thinking about the Nautilus or they were thinking about the Royal Oak. And this obviously has its own history to lend on, but then they didn't just do a striped dial. They didn't just do like a waffle pattern dial. They did
Yeah,
something that was actually kind of unique and cool, and I think helped define the series.
Totally.
So bravo, IWC.
Yeah, that's available right now for $33,500 on the website. So like Rob said, for a perpetual calendar, you know,
for a steel perpetual that you could wear every day. Yeah, and it's a screw down crown. And there's no like pushers on the case. So like, I mean, that's your everyday perpetual.
Yeah, it's cool.
I love it.
That's a really good one.
I'm going to do a real quick banger on this IWC while we're IWCing. One of my favorite, you know, this will be the second time we've used the word neo-vintage, and we're not done with it yet. But a lot, and it's funny, because truth be told, this is just vintage at this point.
Yeah, no,
because it's 30
which is crazy.
years, right?
Yeah,
30 years makes it a vintage item, whether it's a watch or a car or a person. So this is the 3705. And this was the original Flieger chronograph, and this was the first time that IWC did a serial launch of a watch in a ceramic case. And this has become quite well sought after by collectors for that reason. It's a 36 or 37 mil case, which I love it. This was produced between 94 and 98, so still kind of like coming out of the quartz crisis, the Swiss watch industry still coming into its own. I look at this and I actually think it kind of looks older than that, which is really interesting.
I don't know. It's really interesting because it kind of does like bridge that gap between what I think of as like, you know, 80s and older, like 70s and 80s IWC and what we know today. But the idea of a major manufacturer coming out with a ceramic case in 94 does seem pretty bold because like...
there wasn't much back then. Like Rado was making stuff. IWC had started to play around with like mixing ceramic and titanium. But this was the first attempt at like a real like serially produced ceramic case watch. You can see they were still doing the pushers here in steel. They still did the screw down case back in steel. Versus now where we see like watches that are fully ceramic. And you saw things like rubber pushers and things like that as well with these, which was interesting as they were working the kinks out. But a very cool watch from an era that I think IWC made their best stuff in the late 90s, early 2000s. I love this era of IWC. And yeah, this will always be the real pilot chrono for me with that flat hand and like the almost like Spartan kind of design. There's no like airplane shaped hands.
I was going to say,
and
this is the best.
Altimeter date windows.
You get like the what makes it a pilot's watch, so that like super legible dial. You know those. You know, you get the day and the date, which is nice. But then you have just black with stark white. But these are great too because it's all tritium. So the like. We've seen some amazing ones that have aged like to a gorgeous creamy patina.
First thing I would do is take this IWC gator off this thing and put it on a NATO.
Totally,
and it would look so good.
Yeah, that's such a special one, and it's IWC obviously re-released this watch essentially not that long ago, so there is a modern version of it.
The tribute to 3705.
Tribute to 3705, great piece as well, but it's really tough to beat the original.
It's different. It's bigger. It's just not the same.
Agreed.
It's not the same.
Like you said.
And it never will be, right?
No.
Like very few brands actually do like a note-for-note reissue of the old piece. You don't see that very often.
Right.
So it's cool that they did it and they made it accessible because there are a ton of those around. Whereas in this, there's not. You have to hunt for that.
Yeah, you really do. And again, like you said, that like mid-90s, for me personally, is peak IWC. Like that's where they did their best work. That's kind of like what I think of and what I really see.
There was the original Pilot series. There was the Porsche design, the Ocean 2000, which apparently they lost so much money on that watch.
Such a cool watch, though.
Because the R&D costs were like tremendous. Because that was the first 2,000 meter water resistance watch. And then the Portuguese from back then, like that 94. Rebirth of the Portuguese with that one with the really engraved movement is beautiful. Like there's a lot of items.
There's a lot, and there's a lot of really funky little like you said earlier, nooks and crannies within those lines.
GST.
Exactly. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. So if you want to fall down a rabbit hole, go look at early 90s IWC. There's a lot of really awesome stuff out there.
You can thank us later.
At a very approachable price point too. So
speaking of inapproachable price points, why don't we finish with this little Patek.
So if you were with us a few weeks ago, we were talking about our favorite watches from the 1940s. And before this piece even walked through our door, this was what I picked as my favorite watch from the decade, and it's the Patek 1415 World Time. So, Rob, I'm going to pass that off, and it is teeny tiny. It's 32,
it's
30.
Teeny tiny.
It's whatever. I don't
it's
even.
Small by today's standards.
It's small by today's standards. It is an absolutely stunning time capsule of a watch. Like, this one is from 1948. They produced the model from 39 to 54. This is the first serially produced world time.
Right.
They basically, you know, if you're familiar with the history of world times, Louis Cartier developed it in partnership with Patek, you know, the world time mechanism, and then Patek, you know, they
started with pocket watches or table
right,
clocks or
right.
something, and it was a much bigger
yes.
mechanism. And then I know it took Patek a little while to get it small enough to be able to put it in a wristwatch. And the wristwatches of the time were this size,
right.
because the standard bearer for Patek was the reference 96,
yep.
and that was 30.5 millimeters. That was really like a small watch, but this was the norm. So like, this didn't feel small at the time. This probably felt a little more generous.
These are incredibly rare. There's like less than 100 of them out there in yellow gold. You know, it was produced for a long time, but obviously at that time, Patek wasn't making a lot of watches, and especially wasn't making a lot of complicated pieces like this. The reason why this watch really speaks to me, you know, the way that it does is it's like, it's a window into 1948, essentially, because on that bezel, it's engraved with the names of cities around the globe at that time, you know, corresponding to different time zones. And, you know, the 1415, like I said, was made for 15 years. So
I can't read them.
Here, I might look in a minute when you're done with it. But from 39 to 54, think about what was going on in the world at that time. Like, there was, you know, massive turmoil. You know, borders were being changed, names were being changed, and depending on what year one of these was produced and what market it was produced for, there are different names that are engraved on the world time bezel. So,
and that's a tradition that Patek has continued with this, because you'll find world times that have been issued to specific markets with specific cities, replacing them. One of the watches from Albert's collection that he's really proud of is one that has Jerusalem on the world timer, and I think they made like 5 or 8 of those or something.
I mean, man, this is even hard for me to read right now, but you've got
and you got the Hawkeye.
I know.
I don't feel so bad anymore.
Well, you've got Calcutta, but then there's
Calcutta.
Peiping. I don't even know what city that is now. Like, Adelaide. I mean, I don't know. It's unbelievable. And this is actually absolutely beautiful as well. This is a really, really nice example. You get that giant observer hand.
It's so good. It's like, after the Perpetual Calendar chronograph, I think Patek's like second big signature move is actually the world time.
Agreed.
I've always liked Patek world times. I've always thought they were, you know, some of the nicest looking pieces. And there's a romance to a world time.
Totally. Oh my God.
The idea that like, I need to know what time it is in every time zone.
Do you need to know what time it is
because
in Ceylon?
I am a citizen. Like, Ceylon!
I know.
That's great.
It's so
it's
cool.
Not Ceylon anymore.
It hasn't been for quite a long time. But yeah, I mean,
but like, you know, I am a citizen of the world kind of thing. Like, I don't know. There's something about it. I love it. I'd love to own one myself, and to own that one, like to have a piece of history with those beautiful teardrop lugs and the engraving on the bezel instead of the modern system is brilliant.
It is amazing.
Right?
That outer
it's so much
ring.
more practical, although you have the daylight savings time issue, but we won't talk about that.
No one cares about that.
The old one is like, there's a charm, man. It's so cool.
Charm is the perfect word. It's evocative of a very specific era, and it's just special.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that we just happened to have one of these walk through our doors. I was not expecting it, but very, very, very excited about that one. That's another that's going to be coming to our website really soon, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested.
Very cool. So I was going to talk about another neo-vintage Rolex sub, but I think we'll push that, and maybe we can talk broader about like Rolex and their transitionary period there in the 80s another day.
Yeah.
Cool watches.
Like I said, we asked you guys on Instagram to hit us with whatever questions you guys wanted to talk about, and like I said, you didn't disappoint. We got some absolutely amazing questions. We are so appreciative. We're going to do our best to roll through a bunch of them. And first up...
I think wait. I think this is also a perfect time to say that as we're answering these questions, if you folks watching along have input, I would love to hear it.
Thanks for leaving me out of that, Robert. I could care less what you guys have to say, but I mean, Robert really wants to know. So
you have been known to shelve the chat, as it were. So, trying to bring it back.
All right. Well. Oh God, this is what I deal with. All right.
First question.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna throw it up on the screen as well, but I want to just pull it up here. There we go. All right. Michael Sindler, what watch would you choose if you had to wear one for the rest of your life? This is classic. This is like classic, dorm room stoner discussion, whether it's, car or food or whatever. So we're going to do the watch version of it. Robert Russell.
The Desert Island.
The Desert Island test, music, right? Exactly.
We used to do it with albums and pieces of gear and things.
So, Rob, what is your answer?
So mine may be the same as yours, and it's quite boring. But the truth is, like, if my back was against the wall, I had to sell the whole collection and like pick one that got left behind that I would live with for the rest of my life. It would be my 36 mil Rolex Explorer.
Yeah.
Mine's from 2001, 2002, something like that. And I have sentimental attachment to that watch because I've lived about 10 years of my life with that watch. It has been there for many, different milestones. I was wearing that watch at important points. I wore that watch through almost the whole pandemic because I was home the whole time with small children, and that's a great watch for not needing to worry about it.
Exactly.
And that's also, to me, I feel like that's the watch where if I had to put the same thing on every day, whether I'm bumming it around in shorts and a t-shirt or whether I'm at work in a suit and tie, that fits, it's good, it's cool, it just works all the time. Yeah. And I liked the Rolex Explorer before I even knew anything about watches. I was drawn to that watch in its simplicity, the backstory of it, the Edmund Hillary connection, the whole thing to me was really cool. And so, Rolex Explorer, 36 mil, forever and ever.
I mean, you're right. Mine too. I mean, so I
thought so.
We're so lame.
It's how, don't five of us in this store
Yeah,
own
we have a
one?
lot. So I have a 1988 1016 Explorer, and everything that Rob just said, I've had it for almost 10 years now. It's been on my wrist for a lot of major milestones, when my daughter was born, again through the pandemic. It's so versatile. That's another watch that I absolutely love because it's so versatile. I can wear it. It's my weekend watch whenever, literally as soon as I, leave this place and I take off a suit, my Explorer goes on, and it's great with a suit. It's great with shorts and a t-shirt. It's great. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't look out of place. I have, and I do wear it with a suit, and it looks totally normal. You can put it on a NATO strap if you want to. You can mess around with it. You don't have to be too precious with it.
That's what Ian Fleming actually wore.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes. So Ian Fleming owned, I guess it would have been a 1016 at the time, a 1016
Probably
Rolex
a
Explorer, and that was kind of the impetus of the whole Bond wears Rolex thing. So I can't remember the story of why he ended up with a sub on the wrist, but it could have all been different if they had just used Ian's
We probably
watch.
wouldn't. We probably wouldn't own Explorers if we probably wouldn't be able to afford Explorers if Bond had worn one. But yeah, no, that's the one.
Yeah.
If I had to only have one, it's got to be versatile.
Sorry to be predictable and boring predicting. But yeah, it's the truth though. Yeah. And I think at the heart of it, a lot of watch guys would be like, yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right.
Next you're up first now. So we have from G7 James. What are top 3 Lange watches in your opinion?
Okay. This took me 2 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, my choices are basic, but so first, my all-time favorite Lange, doesn't matter. I am gonna figure out a way to get one on my wrist for good. Datograph, just classic platinum datograph, 403.035.
Okay.
Give me an early meter dial. Give me a later one. I don't really care, but just the standard 39 mil platinum black dial with the contrasting subdials. I would be happy pretty much to get rid of all my watches and just have that.
Wow, bold statement.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm saying it right now. Anyways, that's my all-time favorite. Number 2, like the Lange 1. There's a reason why that was part of the collection when they relaunched the brand. Okay, so I did choose, the white gold blue, the reference 101.027, 38.5 mil, just, again, it's very classic. I love the soiree dials. I've talked about those before, which are the Lange ones with the engraved dials. Those are killer, but there's just something, again, I mean, obviously it's the golden ratio, it's perfection.
That is Lange.
It is
You can't have a discussion about Lange without the Lange
and
one.
Obviously, like Rob said, there are myriad ways you can go within the Lange 1 line, but I would go pretty straightforward, white gold blue, because I wear blue all the time and I like white metals. And finally, the Cabaret. I love the Cabaret.
Cabaret Moon.
No, I actually think I would just go platinum black, done.
Oh, the Darth Cabaret.
The Darth Cabaret. I do love the rose gold Cabaret Moon. That's a great piece.
I wish they did the rose gold moon in the black style.
I was going to say,
that would be...
the main reason why the platinum black really is the one that gets me is that the date disc is black.
Yeah.
It's not a contrasting date disc like you get in the rose gold black. You have a white date disc, which is like so infuriating to me.
You know what else is infuriating? How wrong you are.
No!
Like, the Cabaret is stellar. That Mr. Wonky Case would love a Cabaret.
You're going to tell me?
But you're so wrong.
What are you talking about?
I can't believe that you left off the PLM.
I don't care.
How do you leave off the Pour La Marie?
Because that's not what I'm, like, I appreciate it. It's a beautiful watch, obviously. But when I think of Lange, I don't think PLM.
All
right, whatever. So
you're a fool.
What are you
Number
picking?
one
what are you
has
picking?
to be the
No,
PLM.
it doesn't.
Yes,
now
it does.
Who has the trust fund?
Yellow
this
gold.
Is ridiculous.
They didn't ask what you're buying. They asked top 3, in your opinion.
All right, keep going.
You can't. Like, the original Lange Pour La Marie Tourbillon is an absolute masterpiece. The first 1815 that they come out with is a tourbillon fuse and chain masterpiece in a beautiful, like, what is it, 36 or 37 mil case. Stunner.
Okay, so you're going to nerd out here.
Nothing is better than that watch.
Right.
So, PLM number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is the Zeitwerk.
Nah.
Because nobody, like, the Zeitwerk is its own amazing, awesome thing that exists in a plane of existence that is like nobody else comes close. Nobody else makes anything like that.
I love the history. I love the story. I love, the what was it, the Semper Opera House in Dresden. Like, I love the whole backstory of it. And I agree that it is distinctively Lange. It could be nothing else.
Yeah, just get to it. But
it's too big.
No, it's not. It can't be any smaller.
I know.
Do you know what's going on in that movement?
Rob, I do.
That's like saying, oh man, I wish they didn't put a big, powerful V12 in that car. Like, what a shame that it's so big.
I have dainty little wrists, and I cannot pull off the Zeitwerk. It feels like a tuna can on my wrist. I love it. If I was, Captain America over here with these big, chunky wrists, like, yeah, I would wear it too, but I can't. So...
why we use the heavy glasses. Get the lifting in at the same time.
I'll get my shake weight for later. All right, give me number 3.
So PLM.
Yes.
Zeitwerk.
Thank you for recapping. Yes.
And then.
What the hell? You didn't even think this through?
No, of
what
course
is your
not.
third answer, man?
Of course not. Why would I think this through? Why would I prepare it?
God.
It's much more fun to have it be somewhat spontaneous.
Okay. All right. Well, you continue to think here. We'll play the Jeopardy theme in post. What do you got?
No.
You can't agree with me because you already made fun of me for my choices.
I could agree with you. I mean,
you can't.
Lange 1 is a big contender. I'm kind of leaning towards saying Lange 1 for me, 101022, yellow, gold, blue hands. But that's kind of the same thing as the PLM.
Keep going.
So why don't we actually go with the,
Welcome to the inner workings of Rob's brain right now. What the hell?
You have no idea, dude. If only you knew. There's too many, dude. There's too many good watches. I don't have a number 3 off the top of my head, so I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it at 2. I think those 2 and you're done. Zeitwerk, PLM, I'm happy.
This is ridiculous.
You can keep the change.
The question was your
third
top 3. Whoever asked us that question, I would like to let the record show that I successfully answered your question because I respect you, G7 James. Robert does not. Next question. Let's see what we got. Oh, this is a great one. Okay. Watches Finer Things asked us, what are your favorite neo-vintage, there's that word again, Piaget and AP non-Royal Oak dress watches? We could go on forever about this question. Rob, it's your turn to go first, so what are your favorites?
I believe you have something I need at this point.
Oh yeah, good point. Hold on, let me get tray number 2
Tray
here.
number 2. I actually have a great example for this because I am currently quite smitten with this AP, which I didn't even know existed until somewhat recently. This is called the WTM, and this is a C serial.
Flawless pronunciation as always, Robert.
Thank you so much. This is a steel 40 millimeter AP that best as I can figure from it being a C serial here is like maybe early 90s or something like that.
Definitely.
And when this came in, my first thought was like, what is this? Is this some kind of prototype or something? And it's funny, another colleague here at the store picked up the watch and said the same thing. So 40 millimeter, it's got basically a JLC caliber in it that's finished by AP and has their markings and numberings on it, but it's basically a JLC caliber. You have what almost looks like this kind of scientific style dial. It's very sparse. You get an internal cyclops on the date, which I think is really weird. There's nothing on top.
I've never even noticed that. That's so weird. That's so weird.
You get this off-center AP. It says Audemars Piguet there, and it has it engraved in the bezel. For me, it's the case.
Weird.
This is almost like the original Parmigiani Toric, which is another watch of this era that I think is really cool.
This is a lot bigger than that, but yeah.
But it's like the steps and the bezels. Like I'll stare at this watch kind of tangentially like this, and I'm like, man, this is so cool. And it's steel. Like, I don't know why. I'm like head over heels for this thing. I think this is the first time an AP has come into the store where I have actually been like, I need to own this AP. I love AP. I love the Royal Oak. I've always loved, especially the Kasparov Chrono. I think that's like my favorite Royal Oak of all time. The 16202, 15202, all of that stuff is really perfect.
4100.
But this 14790, all of those are great. I'd be very happy to take ownership of any of those. But this actually compels me.
You are compelled?
I am compelled. Like, I am smitten with this watch.
It's cool.
I think I don't know how to describe it.
Well, what we always say is like, because we do this day in and day out and we get to see all this crazy cool stuff all the time, like, we have like devious watch tastes at this point.
We do.
It has to be really weird to catch our attention, and that is super weird. Like, we've never seen it. I didn't even know that existed. Like you said, like,
it's
is it
like
a prototype?
Remarkable in its unremarkableness.
Yeah. But it's just cool enough. Like, so there are so many other references from.
Oh yeah.
Like, I guess I would.
Where'd your tray go?
Well, no, that's for the Breguet question, Rob. Come on.
Oh. I thought those were APs.
The late 80s through like the mid 90s, even up to like 2000, there's so much. Like, first of all, the Star Wheel is killer. That is such an interesting.
The original Star Wheel.
Introduced in 1991. It's a Wandering Hours. It's based on a clock that was made for Pope Alexander VII in the 17th century. Like, crazy
You know what's
story
funny?
in history.
Just look. That's another like Urwerk before there was Urwerk.
Why do you have to tie?
I think there's something going on here.
You're gonna see Rob with the red string on a board here next week.
I'm just saying, we have the Star Wheel with the satellite.
Anyways, Star Wheel, incredible reference. The QP, the AP QP. Actually, here you go. Hold on. Now. There you go.
See, you did have an AP on there.
I did.
We talked about these Actually, we talked about this one last week.
We talked about this. No, not the rose gold. But anyways, the AP QP, killer little watch.
This is another one of those perpetual calendars that punches so far above its price point weight. It's not even funny. And this is a rare one.
This is a special one.
Because you don't see these with display backs. This is like the very end.
This is also rose gold, which the vast majority of these were in yellow gold. So rose gold display back, crazy decoration.
Hold on, I got to take this other one off.
That's incredibly special. I'll let Rob model it. But my all-time favorite AP Neo Vintage model line, whatever, it's called the John Schaefer line. If you're not familiar, like immediately, like don't leave the stream, but pull up another window and Google John Schaeffer AP. It's SCHAEFFER. It's a collection from the 90s. They were crazy, crazy limited. They're all, they're cushion cases. So John Schaeffer was in the 20s. He was an AP client. He had special pieces commissioned. It actually had his name as the markers on the dial, like all kinds of crazy stuff. But they were all in cushion cases. So AP came out with this line in the 90s, all using cushion cases, and there's all different kinds of complications. They do a star wheel, they do a minute repeater, there's a perpetual, there's all kinds of really interesting variants, and they were made in incredibly limited numbers. So if I had to choose a favorite, like, you know, vintage, neo-vintage, AP model or model family, it's gonna be the John Schaeffer.
That's a deep enough cut that even I don't know that.
Really?
I'm gonna have to look
you gotta look it up.
I am not familiar.
Unbelievable. And like they made them in like ridiculously limited numbers, so they very rarely come to market. You'll see them in auctions every once in a while, whatever.
We didn't really talk about Piaget, and I do want to say that like this is an interesting era in watchmaking because in the 80s and the 90s, a lot of mechanical movement makers actually kind of like just called it a day and hung it up because the quartz crisis was like a real like big thing. It really impacted these brands in a big way. And you know, if you wanted a mechanically powered chronograph, you had one option. Valjoux, Lemania was the only people making those mechanical chronographs.
Right.
Everybody else had kind of called it a day and closed up shop. So, you know, you had Piaget still working and working really tirelessly at the ultra thin thing in an incredible way. And so there are some really amazing Piagets from that era that almost defy belief with how thin they are and they run. I think it was Piaget who made one at one point. It was a prototype. It was so thin that when you put it on and you strapped it down, it would flex the case and it would stop running. They'd actually like, you know, jumped the shark and went too far. and they had to not make that one because you couldn't wear it. It would stop the minute you strapped it on.
I'm sure at the time the material science just wasn't there yet.
No.
Because like now, obviously, with
now they make these things that are like
the
crackers.
RM Ferrari.
Yeah.
But so for me personally, the Piaget that pops to mind. And it's interesting because they actually stopped production. It was vintage. It was made in the 70s and early 80s, and then they relaunched it not that long ago. It's the Warhol. Yeah. So if you're not familiar with that one, go ahead and look that up. Andy Warhol famously wore it. I don't even know.
I was going to say it's called the Warhol now, but back then it was. It was some random Piaget reference number. I'm not sure what it is, but they now, you know, there's a whole line of them now. It's still very limited production. They actually just this week or last week came out with a very interesting variant of it, but I love it. It's super cool. It was a Beta 21 back in the day, so like, you know, yeah, very cool. Unfixable.
So, well, exactly. So you want to talk quartz crisis, there you go. But they make them, there's one white gold, a malachite dial, green malachite. They do, you know, white gold with like a tiger eye.
Piaget makes cool stuff now. Those altiplanos where the dial and the movement are all integrated and stuff. Very cool. I'm looking at the clock.
Let's just keep going with questions. One more.
Really?
Do you want to do this?
I want to do the mystery tray,
All
man.
right. We'll save. So like we said, like we have probably 5-10 more questions we could do.
Yeah, and there's good ones that I do want to talk about.
Agreed.
Especially you trading everything for Parmigianis. But
Robert, just, you know, just messing with our internal discussion about what we're going to talk about.
If you're not having fun at work, why show up to work?
We're gonna save the rest of the questions though for sure. We're gonna make this if not an every show thing, at least like an every other, because again, super fun to get to hear what you guys want to talk about, and then let us just. You know,
I'm just sad I didn't get to see all the people who were agreeing with me on the comments.
I don't want to say nobody was, but nobody was. All right, fine. So a couple weeks ago, we had producer Ben go ahead and grab a tray of watches. I think at that price point was 50 grand or something.
Excellent. That's going to get in the way.
We told him to go ahead and choose 6 watches, I believe, right around the $100,000 price point. We told him to make it as diverse as possible, and then we have no idea what he chose. We're going to go ahead and reveal it now, and Rob and I are going to have to pick our favorite one from this tray. The whole idea here is we want to show off, obviously $100,000 is a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a watch, but we just want to show...
Even for you?
even for me, Robert, even for me, we just want to show you how much variety is available at any given price point. Like, you can literally do $5,000, $500,000. Like, there's so many different ways that you can go.
The last time we set Ben loose in the safe and told him to pick watches that were around 50K.
That was the weirdest trade I've ever seen in my life.
Stuff we never would have picked. My level of anticipation here is like through the roof.
Are you ready, Robert?
Do it.
All right. Okay. Whoa.
I'm going to give it a little rotation here.
Give it a little like 3/4. I like that.
So we have an AP Code 1159 Tourbillon.
Tourbillon, yeah.
We have a Cartier Tortue minute repeater,
Damn.
a chiming watch, ding ding. We have the new John Mayer, 126508 from Rolex.
Yellow gold, green
green.
dial, yeah.
We have a 5711 Patek Philippe, the standard bearer of the modern Nautilus.
Yeah.
We have a Vacheron Traditionnel Perpetual Calendar Chronograph.
Yep.
Look at that.
Is that platinum as well?
This is
right?
platinum salmon.
Yeah.
What else could you do with a beautiful salmon dial? And then we have the Frank Mueller, like grand complication. This is everything. I'd have to look at this to actually remember everything that's going on here, but we have like a dual time, we have a tourbillon.
So when this watch was introduced, this was the most complicated wristwatch in the world whenever that was. It was the early 2000s, I think. Oh my God, look at that case.
I mean,
holy crap.
This is like...
You know what? I actually want to look up how many complications. You sit there and vamp, Rob, about what you're going to choose.
This is, you know... I love stuff that's like we did it because we could.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that in the watch industry because at the end of the day, does a tourbillon actually make it? I'm going to actually move this over to my seat here. But does a tourbillon make it more accurate? No, not anymore. But man, it's cool. And if I had one, I would stare at it all day and probably not get any work done. So, like, this is absolutely
All right, so that's
bonkers.
the Eternitas 4.
He did a couple of these with different levels of complication, and it's even an automatic. There's even a micro rotor in here. Like,
how does he get enough power to handle that?
He's got a micro rotor in there. I mean, from the thickness of the case, he's probably got like a good mainspring. You know,
I would
you
hope
can see
so.
it up at the top there.
Oh my God.
And like as you wind it, it'd be cool because you could actually like watch it come under tension. Oh no, it's in a barrel. It's in a decorated barrel. Can't watch it. But yeah, I mean, this thing is a beast. So. Oh, man, I got $100K to spend.
Me too.
And it's funny because we have like the safe choices. Like to spend $100K on a 5711 is easy, right? Because you know that's cool. You could wear it all the time. It is a great and iconic watch. I don't know when Patek is going to reissue this in steel, like if a 5811 is going to come in steel, because we haven't seen one yet.
It's going to happen eventually.
You think so?
I think they're...
I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, no, you get cubitus in steel.
No, I think Thierry is... Like, I think that they are going to distance themselves. Like, it's going to take several years to kind of distance themselves or put enough space between them and their comments on not being the Nautilus company. You know what I mean? And then,
Nautilus company.
Well, no, I mean that's what they said. They never want Patek to just be known as the company that makes the Nautilus. So.
And like this is super cool. I love the yellow gold green, but I don't love a Daytona enough to go there.
Agreed.
A ding ding is very cool.
Yep.
Like, and this is such a cool one too because it's in a nice shaped case.
So, spoiler alert. I'm choosing the Cartier. It's so subtle. If I'm going at the six figure, like if I'm hitting the six figure category, I want more than just a perpetual.
Shall we?
Yeah. Go ahead and ding it.
Shall we ding it? I'll hold it close to the mic. Although I think this one actually is pretty loud. So.
Yeah, I mean it's a platinum case. Like it's this.
Let's see if that's enough power.
Go ahead. It should be.
Slides up.
Yeah, I mean, come on, like, beyond a tourbillon, like, a minute repeater is so useless, but I would sit there and I would chime that thing all the time. My wife would be so mad at me because I would just constantly be playing the chimes of my Tortue minute repeater. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you ask?
Hey,
did you ask
do you want to know what time
it was? Yeah, exactly.
It's cool, and it's a beautiful proportion. Yeah. And like, nobody would know.
No.
Except it's just like the Royal Oak Sonnery. They'd be like, oh, you've got a Tortue with the small seconds. That's interesting. Right. And they'd have no idea that it's a repeater unless they know about the slider. So like, that is a cool one, and I commend your choice.
It's just so special.
But it's not for me.
It feels special. I know. No Cartier's ever for you. That's fine,
I'm
Robert.
actually very
That's fine.
torn.
You don't have any taste, so.
I actually kind of like this.
I kind of thought you were going to go that direction. And to be honest, if I was picking a number 2, I'm going to pick the Code Tourbillon. Because again, I just think it's more interesting than the Daytona, than the Nautilus. You know, the Vacheron is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's too big in my opinion. It's kind of a
I want to pick the Franck Muller just to be that guy. Just to be that guy. But the truth is, and while we've got the close-up here, the truth is, like, this is a watch that if I had a dozen watches, and I was like, I want to buy something absolutely crazy, and if I only wear it 3 times a year, I don't care, then yes, I'm buying this watch.
I was going to say,
this
like,
is the thing.
Go ahead, sorry.
You show up to a watch event.
Yeah.
You show up somewhere where people are like watch heads. You go to Rolly Fest, you're wearing this, dude. People are going to be like, whoa.
So,
right?
I want to be the guy who owns that. Like, I want to be, I'm not, I know myself, I know I'm not that guy, but I aspire to be the guy.
I can't buckle this without it falling off because it's so big.
Who honestly, like, has that much dough and doesn't care and just like, I want something ridiculous.
Oh, maybe I do just need to be this guy. Because like that's.
Oh, I think you need $99,900 more, Rob.
That's
but yeah. That's.
I mean, but it's like.
It's wild. It's more of a tour de force than it is like a watch that you wear. You know what I mean?
Perpetual calendar.
It's an exercise in like horological engineering as opposed to an everyday, you know, or even like an occasional wear.
3 time zones. Not even 2, 3 time zones. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Back to that.
Equation of time.
Are you just going to list off complications now?
Well, I'm looking at it now because it's on my wrist.
Guys, we have 3 minutes left. Stay tuned to watch Rob just list off complications. Thanks for hanging with us for 57 minutes.
It comes with a super helpful sheet that actually has arrows that point to everything because there's so much going on this dial.
Don't set that after you've had a scotch.
Actually, is this still available?
I think it's pending sale, honestly.
So somebody has already had the foresight to say this is a future classic, and I mean, again, it's not a daily wear.
Of course not.
I mean, maybe you could, but I couldn't wear this on the daily. But to have a watch that's just like, okay, I'm going out and I'm going to wear the most ridiculous watch I have and enjoy every minute of it, then I want this
That's what
watch.
I'm saying. That I want to be that guy who just takes, like, it's just pure joy.
This is also, objectively, this is the most watch on the table.
Well, yeah, Rob, look at the thing. Of course it's the most watch on the table.
Look, from this viewpoint, dead on like that?
If you look at it out of the corner of your eye in this light,
no, look, it sits
spelt.
Beautifully. It's fine. It doesn't overhang the wrist.
Rob,
it's great.
show me how thick it is, pal.
It's just tall. It's not going to fit under the cuff. That's your only problem. If you're okay with that, it's fine. Short sleeves, you're good.
Hold on, sorry, Robert. I'm checking the chat here.
Oh,
I see someone in the chat. Yeah, Grant Parker. Yes, $199.5 on the Odysseus Chrono. He agrees. He thinks that's quite fair and that we could have asked for more. And you're probably not wrong. But yeah, killer watch. Anyways, back to the code.
This is the smart choice. But
you shouldn't make that then.
That's
not for you, Rob.
When do I make the smart choice?
No, but really, like if for my second choice, I think that's probably the direction I'm going. It's interesting. It's a tourbillon.
I could wear this every day.
They've kind of fixed all the issues that I had with the code, you know, with the dials and, you know, some of the design choices that they made. This has got that beautiful blue smoked dial. I love, actually, you know what? Where is that QP? It's got the same indices, the same baton hands, you know, as that QP from the early 90s. Like, this is, you know, like, no bullshit. This is a future classic, in my opinion. I really do think that these are going to be appreciated at some point. Like, show off the case, too.
Oh, yeah. The case, you can't see it. The crystal is like the the coolest thing in the world because the distortions from the double curved crystal are super amazing. The casework is really cool. I love the little nod to the Royal Oak with the octagonal mid case without it being over the top. I love the architectural lugs with the screw in it. I love the case backs on these are absolutely tremendous because they have beautiful movements in them that fill the case. The rotor's nicely skeletonized. Like, everything about these new codes, I think, are great. I would easily wear this watch and enjoy every second of it. But you know what? To hell with reason and smart decisions. I'm buying the Franck Muller, and I'm going to wear it. And like all the time, all the time.
All right.
I'm gonna get those little extension buttons that you can get to like let the cuff out just a hair.
Just put it over the cuff, Rob. Just Agnelli this thing. If Agnelli was still alive, Rob, that is absolutely the piece that he would strap.
That's the thing. I mean, if Ralph Lauren can wear the original big pilots and all that, like, you know what? Hell with it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna take the craziest watch on the table. Number 9.
Well,
number 9. How many of these did he make?
Not that many. On
it
that bombshell, Rob,
to make this
we're gonna top gear this send off here on that bombshell. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. This was a blast.
Yeah.
We could have gone on for another 2 hours. We have so many more questions to get through. We promise we will do this again in 2 weeks. Keep an eye on our website for all the cool stuff that we showed you from new arrivals. There's also a ton more that's going to hit. If it hasn't already hit while we've been on in the air, tomorrow morning we'll have a lot out there. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Have a great rest of your week.
Happy weekend, everybody.
See ya.
Bye-bye.